Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about TIG welding surface preparation of three different metal groups basically. We got, this is cold rolled steel, I got a little piece of it here. This is hot rolled steel, and then we got 4043 aluminum, but this applies to pretty much every aluminum. Okay, so well, let's start off with the easiest. Mild steel is usually used the most by me, basically. I mean, I use all of them, but mild steel is pretty much the go-to metal for anything that I do. I do a lot of car fabrication, a lot of stainless steel, motorcycle fabrication, turbo kits, all that stuff. But mainly, what I do first off is before I prepare anything, I take some acetone, put some on a rag, and give the part a good wipe down, good cleaning on both sides. Now it's best to not touch it with your fingers, but I mean it's not really a big deal unless you're doing some sort of like aerospace stuff or some food industry, food grade stuff. So I give that a wipe, and then there's two ways you can go about this. Actually, there's multiple ways, but what I usually like to do is I either use a Scotch-Brite, a drill with a wheel on it, or you could just use go old school, real easy, and just use a stainless steel brush. Normally, what I do is, depending on how big the area is, I'll go with the wheel. I go with the wire wheel, and then just I clamp it down to the table. I'll do one half of it, and then I'll do the other half so I can show you guys what it looks like prepped and not prepped. But I just run it through until there's little scratches, little uniform. I'll show you. Now after that, this is what it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see the little tiny. Now the bottom is ready to weld. You got to clean it off with acetone, and the top is not welded. You can also do just Scotch-Brite, and then just I usually use that on thinner gauge stuff like 18, 20, 16. This is 11 gauge cold rolled. So there's that. Give it another wipe with acetone, and you're pretty much ready to weld that as is. Now, second material is hot rolled steel, and this is what this is right here. Hot rolled steel has like a protective coating on it for rust, for all sorts of things. It's like basically just mill scale, and that's why it gives it its distinctive black color, which is you can see here. You can see this little part. I prepped with a grinder and a flap wheel, but you can do whatever you want. What I usually use is this stuff is very hard to get. Now, in order to weld hot rolled well, you need bright, shiny metal like that. It needs to you can weld it on top of this mill scale coating. It's not going to weld well. It's going to get spitting. It's just not going to be good for any type of welding. I mean, unless you're doing like farm tractor stuff where you really don't care, you can weld on top of that. But I usually like to take a little bit of time and go down to bright, shiny metal. So what I did here, right, is I took an angle grinder and I just went to town on that little corner right there. And as you can see, it's bright, shiny metal ready to weld. That's how I like to do that. Of course, acetone it before you start grinding. Grind it to bright, shiny metal, then hit it with acetone again, and you're ready to go. You're ready to weld. Again, there's different types. I wouldn't use a Scotch-Brite on this. It's not going to work. It'll take you years to get down to bright, shiny metal. Neither is the wire brush. You could try the wire wheel, but that will take long too. I'd stick to some sort of, air equipment, or some sort of angle grinder to get this off. Flapper discs work. They just take a little bit longer than I would like. But a nice angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, just tilt it and just go to town. You can have it ready in a couple seconds. And the third material is aluminum. I have a little, about an 1/8 inch gauge, about 11 gauge 40-43 here. It's pretty typical stuff. Now what I like to do with aluminum is again, hit it with acetone before I do anything, before any grinding or anything, and get rid of these little markings, these little numbers and stuff from the distributor where you bought it from. And I can show you a little bit here how acetone just takes that stuff right off. So I'll hit it with that real fast. I'm just gonna do a little corner here just for just to show you guys. But okay, once you got that wiped down, a lot of people just use a wire brush. That's fine. I mean, that works. I usually use that a lot too. And I'll show you, different samples of just the wire brush of what it looks like. And just wire brush it so it's all almost dull, flat. You see the scratch marks going in one direction. And I like to do, when I prepare something, I don't like to go, all different directions with whatever I'm preparing it with, either angle grinder, cutoff wheel, wire wheel, anything. I like to keep the scratches or the direction all the same. And there's that. And you hit it with some acetone, and you're ready to basically weld that right there. And then the second thing I do the most is I take Scotch-Brite. I usually use red Scotch-Brite, which is a little bit coarser grit. This is gray. This is all I had at the moment. But this should work for our little demo here. But you do the same thing with the wire brush. You just keep going back and forth. Like I said, I like to keep the direction of the scratches going one way, so it doesn't affect the arc or anything like that. I don't know. It's stupid, but that's what I like to do. Now you just scratch. I'll scratch up pretty much the whole bottom corner here. Leaves you with nice, bright, clean metal. Now a little bit more acetone on a rag, and wipe that very clean. One thing about aluminum is it needs to be very, 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 very clean in order to weld properly and basically pass, any of your certifications, whether it be aerospace, food grade, anything. It needs to be very clean for them when they x-ray it, no contamination, no peppering, no nothing. So gave that a good scuffing, and you could see, let me try to block this light. Now this was no, I'm sorry, this here was the wire brush. You could see it's a little bit more coarser scratch lines, and then this right here is the Scotch-Brite, and as you could see, it's very uniform, very clean, very shiny, ready for you to weld. But that's it for today, guys. That's it for this basically this video. I'll try to get some more, some future videos on TIG welding up. This is my first video. But yeah, have fun, guys, and just, keep practicing. That's it. Alright, thanks a lot, guys. Bye.